I want to start this series on Seminar 20 by talking with you about love, enjoyment, and corporality. But not as you might expect. The love I want to talk with you about is not the profound love we've considered in the past, which consists in giving what one doesn't have to another equally lacking subject. Instead, it's narcissistic love in search of fusion and oneness with another that I have in mind. Not a love inspired and impelled by lack, but a love in search of lack's eradication and replacement with plenitude, wholeness, completion, oneness. Here is that Aristophanic love that we've been hearing about since Seminar 11, all the way up to the opening riffs of Seminar 20. Lacan, then as ever, is fired up and frustrated by this effort, if only because it fails to realize that there is not, nor can there ever be, any such thing as a sexual relationship. And by that I mean fusion with another, oneness with another. Between narcissistic lovers and the oneness they seek, there is a plague of twos, or what Lacan here calls them two sexes. Enjoyment, the other topic I want to speak with you about. It's gonna fare no better in these opening remarks on Seminar 20. The enjoyment I want to talk with you about is not real, sexual, and certainly not lasting, but fleeting, consumerist, and above all, phallic. If the love at hand is ever in search of fusion with others, the enjoyment before us is dedicated to the equally fantastical idea of autonomy. Pay attention here. This is an important move we're making. Phallic jouissance is tricky to understand. It's got lots of moving parts, but it's fundamentally about the exploitation of others at the level of their parts in service to one's own narcissistic quest for autonomy. Again, the theme of wholeness emerges, but not via fusion with another, as we see in naive narcissistic love. No, man, phallic enjoyment is more about the pursuit of individual wholeness, completion, singularity, and independence, apart from others. So here you have it. Partners reduced to parts that we use to feel whole, by which I mean autonomous, self-sufficient. This is what phallic enjoyment amounts to. But note the dilemma here. If narcissistic love is ignorant of the fact that there is no sexual rapport to be had, and thus no hope for the fusional wholeness and oneness that it seeks, phallic enjoyment all too readily forgets that it relies on others, even if only at the level of their parts, in order to produce feelings of self-reliance, self-sufficiency, and autonomy. In the field of phallic enjoyment, hear me now, we rely on others to feel like we don't rely on anyone. Autonomy out of heteronomy. What a ridiculous wager. I told you I also want to talk with you about corporality, about the body. Indeed, as we begin our reading of Seminar 20 in the clinical and conceptual wake of a series on l'étourdi, and before it, Seminar 19 or worse, I'm inclined to say that it's the body, in and beyond analysis, that Lacan is attempting to think through in the fall of 1972, when he begins these lectures on feminine sexuality. No. These lectures on the limits of love and knowledge. No. Even though that's what you see on the cover of this book, this is a series of lectures on encore. And again, not as you might think it. I want to be a bit schematic about this body in question, about the act and fact of speaking that always requires that one do so in body, on core, in body. And I want to be schematic in a way that I believe is in keeping with the goals of lectures on Lacan: clarity, coherence, and accessibility relative to key texts in Lacanian psychoanalysis. Let me be pointed with this then. Narcissistic love overlays phallic enjoyment, and an impossible, asexual real body underlies both. Beneath the Aristophanic quest for union with another is the no less ancient pursuit of union with oneself. And beneath this pursuit is something else entirely, as Lacan puts it, the body. It's a body that senses. It's a body that speaks. It's a body that suffers from being spoken as well. And it's a body that Lacan has been laser focused on since the end of Seminar 19 or worse. So also at the start of Seminar 20.